Hello guys, so this is my first Zoom meeting for my blog, for my YouTube channel, and today we're going to be talking about kids, having kids, who bears most of the responsibility for kids, how having kids affects your life, just different things surrounding the topic of kids in general. Anything we go into I pretty much just want the conversation to flow, to have its natural flow. Hi, Sonia.
Hi. Oh my God, I love your setup. And here I am in my bedroom with all my, no. I love your setup.
It's fine.
You're looking well.
Thank you. How are you? How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay, so basically, I just wanted to, I'm trying to start a discussion of random topics with random people just to have different views. I don't want to be the only one talking about something and just saying my own point of view.
Usually when I do Zoom calls, I always turn off the video because I really can't be asked to get dressed. Yeah, because my husband just finished a live just now. And it was so easy for him he just put on a hat and his shirt was fine.
That's why I've been marketing, guys. I've been marketing my head wraps, my Ankara bonnets with silk lining and bands that you guys can use. You're in Nigeria, so there's no point in you buying from me all the way in Canada. For everybody else that will.
But soon.
Exactly.
Soon.
Everybody else watching this video, when you want to go, we're in a world now, everything is remote and you have lots of online meetings. You just need your silk, that Ankara bonnet, tie it with the band, have a nice look. Or you have your head wrap, or you have your Ankara headband, or you have the turban. I have options on my store. I will put the link so that you guys can buy. Do you think having kids is selfish? Like, okay, so there's the decision to have kids, then the actually having them. There's two different things. Like, the decision to have kids, I guess you can say, is selfish because it's a decision you're making, right? You guys are making. But like, I feel like actually having them is kind of like an act of God. It's not something.
Yeah, because okay, go on. Because it's not everybody decide. Many people, not everyone, but many people decide to have kids, right? But not everyone can have kids, which is the reality.
Which is
so
yeah.
So that in itself is an intervention of God, divine intervention, cosmic intervention. So if you're lucky, because I remember when I was pregnant, my husband was going about posting that sharpshooter scored one time, this and that. I said, you shut up there. Do you know that there are many people out there who are trying to have kids, who want kids, and they can't have kids, and you're there just mouthing off.
Yeah, like it's something you did. As everybody's doing the same thing you did. Everybody's doing the same
thing. He was saying, because he was saying that he had. My husband was saying that he had that it's because his sperm was, I don't know, was it fertile or whatever. I said, shut up. You see, if you have the most fertile sperm in this world there, and if you have the most agile, most motile sperm in this world there, and you're shooting at barren land,
it's not
there's no kids. So you didn't do anything special. It had to take two people for it to happen. And even for those two people, there was some kind of otherworldly intervention for it to even happen. So my friend, just keep quiet.
Hi, Ify. Welcome. Sonia, this is Ify. Ify, this is Sonia. Everybody, this is Ify. If you've watched any of my videos and all my stories, I've mentioned Ify's name a lot. This is the so-called Ify that is always telling one thing or the other when I give her my gist. my
Hi.
very straight shooter iffy friend. This is she. This is the couple.
And so are you, so that's why I like you. Give it like wow.
I told her like the question, like if she thinks having children is selfish. Like I told her that I feel like maybe like the decision to have them can be a selfish decision. You can decide, but actually having it, we agreed, is like an act of God, because you can decide that you want to have 5 children, and if the stars don't align for you, if you're not lucky, it will not happen. You know, there's so many things that can happen. Your womb can be
hostile,
you know, and different things. Maybe your husband or whoever you're having sex with, sperm and your egg
whoever the
are not
father
compatible. Do you get? So,
And I also want to add to that, even if, let's say, medically you're both normal or okay and you can both have kids, sometimes other factors come into play. You might not even be aligned as a couple or whoever you're with, and you might not be having sex. That's the reality in many relationships. Many people are not having sex, or many people are not having sex around the time when they should be, you know, I mean, having kids, or when the woman is ovulating enough to have a kid. So other factors come into play, and people, you know, maybe are not open enough. I don't want to say truthful enough, but people are not open enough about the other factors that play when it comes to even having kids. So
yeah, because it's something that you always see. I've been seeing on social media a lot. People are like, you're selfish to bring a child into the world. I'm like, okay, when you eventually have the child is put in your belly by an act of God. Like, the natural thing to do is to have it. That's the natural thing, because it's put there not by you doing per se, because anybody that's having sex can get pregnant, get someone pregnant, except you're now doing the other things that man made to stop it. Do you get? Because everything that we use to stop pregnancy is usually man-made. It's not. It's true now. It's not like, it's not just biological. It's not free flowing. Your own body can stop it in its own ways, like we said. But then, other than that, everything else is man-made. Condoms, contraceptives, is all man-made. So those are selfish. Those are the actual selfish decisions.
Yeah, not allowing
having them. Do you get? Like, and it's fine. It's fine to make that decision. I mean, it's your life, and so you should be able to make that decision for yourself. But to say, actually, to come and put it on people for actually bringing a child into the world is selfish. The selfish act would be maybe to have had sex without protection, or if you don't want to have children, have sex without protection, or don't have sex at all.
It's good that you even brought this up, because at a certain point in my life, I felt, you know what, I thought about marriage, and I'm like, you know, do I really want to get married? It's up for debate. I would like it if, you know, it happens with someone that, you know, has many things in common with me. And I thought about, okay, what's the next step? Having kids. And I'm like, if I can't get married, which is not within my control 100%, something I can do that's, you know, within my control.
Still within your control.
Is having a child. And it doesn't necessarily have to be with like a person. If I wanted to go, you know, to a sperm bank, that was an option. So those were things I thought about, and I'm like, okay, you know, this is something I want to discuss with my doctor on how to get myself ready, my body ready, and all of that. And one of the things that kind of made me halt in that thought process was, is this a selfish thing? Am I doing it for myself? Do I want to have a kid because I want to satisfy my own wants or needs? So it made me think. At a point, I mean, I won't say I ended up with the decision that of not going through with it because I thought it was selfish, but it was just something I wasn't ready for in that moment. I don't think having a child is a selfish thing. Maybe in different points of your life, you might think about it and say, you know, am I doing this for myself, or I want to bring a kid in? It's up for debate, but I mean, right now, I don't think it's selfish, personally. There are so many things that come into play when people have kids. So I won't necessarily say it's a selfish decision.
Well, I don't think having kids, bringing a kid into this world is selfish per se, because if you bring in the first one, yes, it's fine. You bring in second, is fine. But when you start bringing in kids you can't take care of to fulfill some physical urge, like people who are reproducing like rabbits, then it becomes a selfish thing. You bring in the purpose of bringing a child into this world, apart from the usual yada 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 continuity, lineage, whatever it is you have a lot of love in your heart to give, and you want to share that love with someone. Now, it might be a significant other, but if there's no significant other, please, you can birth your own, I won't say significant other, but you can birth your own other and experience the world, experience life through that person's eyes. So, children are a way of, like, a window to experience something different, someone you can pass on, so you have so much knowledge that you want to give, to share. So children are a way of expressing, of channeling what your own thoughts, your own beliefs for a better tomorrow, for whatever reason it is. So in that regard, I don't think bringing children into this world is selfish. The act of bringing them in isn't selfish until you start using them to exploit.
Or satisfy
Exploiting, satisfy some physical need. There are people who can't afford to look after. Growing up, we had a gardener, Mr. Akman, God bless his soul. He had 10 or 11 kids. He was our gardener.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how many. So why were you bringing? You thought that they'll all go to school, make money, and come and fend for you.
That's
How?
one thing. I mean, I feel like, I mean, history or based on so many other things, people have kids because
the African mentality.
Yes, that's like.
Yeah. The reason why Africans had so many kids back in the day was because they had large farms and they needed people to farm those lands.
Yeah.
That was the reason. I heard something very, very astronomical on the radio the other day, that it was about the rice paddies in Nigeria and why rice farmers in Nigeria had so many wives and triple the amount of children. Someone said it's because working on the rice paddy, you get bitten a lot by mosquitoes, and when so many are sick, you need replacement workers for the. God have mercy.
You know
when
what?
I heard that,
it's funny because I've been to South Carolina, and that's where majority. I mean, that was the port for slaves, and where all the slaves came in before they were like spread into the whole of the United States. And because I was around some of those rice plantations, I could tell that mosquitoes, because I got bitten by a lot of mosquitoes, but there's some correlation to it, because apart from even the mosquito biting, having more children or having like more like workforce per se.
Workforce.
You know what I mean? So you could kind of see why, like, you know, maybe sometimes even the slave masters would have kids with the slaves in order to get more kids and in order to continue like production or whatever. I would also say in terms of like your gate man, Mr. Akpan, I feel like poverty also has a role to play in that kind of thing, because you might look at it and say you're poor, why are you having more kids? But there's more to it.
Understand?
Because I feel like there's more to it, because poor people sometimes, not in every case, are not educated enough. And I'm not talking about school. I mean, just not educated enough on how to use contraception or family planning and all of that. And because there's not much to do, that might be one of their ways of having like.
Oh no, please don't tell me about it.
You know, that's why I feel. And also, even it might seem silly, but even when that kind of person gets pregnant, they might not, if they choose to go through with an abortion, some of them might not have the money for it. They might live in an environment where people who have gone through it have probably died from it because it hasn't been done properly. So they would rather like go through birthing that child than that, like going through the other route of having an abortion, because they know that it might lead to their death. So I feel like there's so much especially when it comes to people who are poor, and the correlation between poor people having more kids is just too deep. Because sometimes you might think logically, why should they not use common sense? But it's deeper than common sense in those kind of people.
Okay, I wanted to interrupt and quickly introduce Faye. Faye, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Faye. Thank you. Hi.
We already started the topic. We're basically talking about whether we feel having children is selfish. We all agreed that it's really not selfish to bring a child into the world, because it's mostly like an act of God. That, to be honest, it's the other things we use to stop ourselves from having children that is more selfish. Like, it's more of a selfish decision, which is a valid decision, because all those things are man-made, but not naturally. What the body does is, if two people have sex, unprotected sex, sometimes the sperm may fertilize the egg. Next thing is pregnancy. The natural thing is to have the child, except the body rejects it and you lose the child, so those things. But in the natural flow of things, the child is supposed to come to the world. You understand? And then it's now us as man that started making like contraceptives, condoms, to prevent us from having too many children. Like we were saying, more than we can afford, because that's when it becomes selfish, when we start having children that we cannot actually afford to bring up, or we use children as accessories, just to say, we have this mini me, we can dress up and just use and take picture and not really put in all the work that it is to raise the child. So do you have anything quick to add to that quickly before we move on to the next bone of context?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. Like, naturally, we're made to reproduce, right? So it's expected that you're supposed to reproduce. But if you, like you said, when you start toying with that and making some changes to your body just to make sure that you don't have children, at certain times, then yes, it is a selfish decision. But I feel like as humans, we're supposed to be selfish somewhat. At the end of the day, you don't want to be in a situation where you say, oh, you want things to happen naturally, and you end up with 10 children and you cannot afford. You have 10 children, you can't even work. What time is that?
License.
Life, So some people want that. Maybe money is not an issue for them, or they don't have any career goals, or they know that they're able to combine all those things. Then if that's you, kudos to you. But I feel like people should be selfish when making these decisions. Like, if you're not ready, you're not ready. This is about you. If a child doesn't come, the child never existed to know that they never came. So it should be about the living right now, not about how things should be. I feel like at the end of the day, we're human, and it's our society that is determining most of these things. So yeah, just be selfish in your decision. If you're not ready, you're not ready. That's just how I feel about that.
I want to piggyback off what Faye just said. When you hear the word selfish, most times it comes off as a negative thing, and it's not necessarily always negative. If you're being selfish because you feel like even if you have money, because people might think money is the main. I mean, it's a very important tool when it comes to having kids, but is that the main thing that you need? Because if you're a good human being who can raise children that go into society and make a positive impact, it doesn't necessarily have to come with too much money. I wasn't born into a poor home. I mean, I'll classify myself as middle class, but there are times when it was not really good, but we didn't have a bad upbringing, and we become a good part of the society. So I don't think, I won't necessarily lean more towards it being selfish if you don't want to have kids, but think about what your selfish reasons are for. Is it because you're doing it, like Chika said, because you want to have like an accessory, or because you just think that you can raise a good human being?
Yeah.
Or you just don't want to have kids yet.
Yeah.
I mean,
yet is a different thing altogether, but like Yeah, like the yet is a different thing altogether. I think what she's pretty much trying to say that if you actually decide that at some point in your life you want to have kids, why are you bringing this kid into the world? Like that's what she's trying to say. Like, what's your motive behind bringing this child into the world? When you eventually, if you eventually decide you want to have one, nobody's pressuring you when to have one. If you should even have one, but if you decide to have one, why are you having? What's your
Why are you having one?
this?
Is it so that you can have many, so you can have them as your retirement plan?
Plan,
or,
which is a lot of how a lot of our parents saw us. Did you get a lot of our parents saw us?
Yeah, I get that.
They are so disappointed with us. They are so disappointed.
And before we go into more of that, I wanted to say another thing, like having kids, like getting pregnant. I see that a lot of the time from culture as Africans, as Nigerians, that we all are. Even apart from us Africans and Nigerians, I think generally in the whole world, most people put the responsibility on the woman to get rid of or not to get pregnant. Do you get? As if it's like just her that's taking part in the activity to get pregnant. So they put more.
You understand?
Her not to get pregnant.
It takes two to tango.
Like I can understand the responsibility on her being not to stay pregnant, but the responsibility of getting pregnant, while it's a responsibility of both parties, I feel it's more the responsibility is actually on the guy. Because he's
he's the one who is the guy is the one who is putting the actual the fertile ground.
Yes. So if it was just on her own,
it's your job not to that package.
Exactly. If she was on her own, just with her egg chilling, and no seed came running towards her, because the egg is a boss. She's a boss. I don't want to say boss bitch. She's a boss babe. She's just there chilling and they're running towards her and saying, who can enter first? And can enter.
You watch that movie, Baby's Day Out.
So yeah.
So this round, is it about like who should have more responsibility in terms of when it comes to like pregnancy, or when a girl or woman gets pregnant? Is that what the question is?
In her getting pregnant, like not to stay pregnant, because there's like different stages of where the responsibility kind of shifts. Staying pregnant, having the baby together, you get, all those things. So like, but the initial getting pregnant, like fertilizing an egg, or what they call that, conceiving.
Yeah, conception.
Conception.
Yeah. So for me, I think that I feel like it's a 50-50 thing. It could literally be the woman, it could be the man, it could be both of them. So the issue of as Nigerians, how it is in Hollywood movies. That's the reality for some people. When you're being attacked as a woman because you haven't gotten pregnant, or it's a cultural and social conditioning that has to go. Nobody is asking for medical results, or at least I'm talking about family, not friends. For friends, it's none of your business. But any family member that really cares should ask about both parties if they really have to interfere at all. I think nobody should be interfering.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel nobody should be interfering. But if they do have to interfere, it shouldn't be one-sided and just be like, oh yeah, the woman, blah 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 blah. I'm not God.
Yeah.
And like, don't come for me when you don't know if it's the man that has the issue. You don't know if we're dealing with it. You don't know what tests are being carried out. So I feel like, people need to be more open-minded. This is not a man versus woman thing. It's not, it's not always the woman's fault. A lot of times it's actually the man's fault.
It's never the woman's fault a lot of times. So
a lot of times, yeah. So at the end of the day, and even when it's the man's fault, sometimes some women will cover it up because it's a thing of shame. It's a thing of shame for the man. But it's okay if it's a woman. Like, it's more acceptable for people to, attack the woman. But then they protect their husband. It's fine. Protect each other. It shouldn't be one-sided.
I shouldn't be protecting you, and you'll be letting you be left out to the dog.
Can I just add to that?
That's not right.
Okay, so I like the fact that Faye came from the angle of being married. I want to come from the angle of just young adults or teenagers who are exploring sex. Should it be the girl or the woman's or the young adult's responsibility? No, I don't think it should be. But should it be solely on the guy? No, I feel like it should be 50-50 in that instance as well. Because growing up, we knew of, and when I say we knew of other people, it's not me, it's just we knew of other people who would take their daughters to the clinic to get the IUD or to do all those things. And those people were between, I feel like 16 and late teenage years, like 19. So, I mean, was the mother proactive? Probably, you know, she didn't want the girl to get pregnant, so she put that contraceptive into that child. Maybe because I think she got pregnant prior and they didn't want it to happen again. So, I mean, they've done that part. Do I think it's a bad thing to do? No. I feel like every situation is unique and do what's best in that situation. But people should teach their sons as well, because I feel like in many cases in life, when you're not the one who is wearing the shoe, you like, it's really not your business, because the girl gets pregnant, because, you know, the stigma stays more on the girl. You know, they feel like men should not be educated. You should be, because if that girl decides that she wants to have a kid, you're going to have a kid as well. You know, the guy is going to have a kid as well. It's not just the girl that's having that child, and it's not the girl that's, you know, a single mom. You become a single dad. So if you feel like, you know, the responsibility should be on the girl child or on the teenage or the young person, I feel like people should change that idea and teach men, you know, even if you want to have sex, you know, it's a different thing if you're saying abstain from sex till you're married, if that's what your beliefs are, fine. But if you know that your child is sexually active, teach that child about the consequences and teach that child to always have protection, boy or girl. That's simple and period.
Yeah, I agree with you on because right now the responsibilities on women like 70%, and on men maybe 30%. If there's even any on the men at all, maybe
if there's even any on the men.
I'm not sure that there's on the men.
Can I say something here? The year I was pregnant with my son, in fact, I was about to give birth, and I went on Facebook. Someone I went to uni with, he was spewing some trash online, and it had to do with objectification of women. I know it's not a topic that we've gone to, objectification of women, in the sense that your bodies are a temple. Getting pregnant should not be difficult, and if you get pregnant, you must keep the baby, even if you were violated, you were raped. What's it called? He also talked about artificial insemination, about it being a sin. And I got that night. Chika, you know how pregnancy is now. The closer you are to term, the more awake you are. That night, I stayed awake so I could talk to this boy about telling me how to use my body. Because I was pregnant. This was a child I wanted. This is a child I wanted. This is a child I have. But in those last few days, I was like, what is this thing doing in my body? Get it out. Now, this is the child I want. Now, someone is raped, and a child she doesn't want is in her body, and you're telling her that she must keep it. I'm of the opinion that if you don't want it, get it out.
Yeah.
I'm of the opinion that if you don't want it, even if you and your husband are happily married and you don't want it, get it out. Because
that goes to the next thing that I wanted to say quickly before we end, because we don't have much time. But I wanted to say before we say that I was going to say, like, the responsibility should be 50-50. Sometimes I even think it should be 60% the guy and 40% the woman, because, like I said, you're the one putting seed inside someone. If you're having sex, make sure you're wearing a condom. If you feel you cannot wear condom, maybe both of you don't like condom. If you feel you can't wear it, try make an effort to at least pull out, because the girl.
Which one is make an
I'm not
effort?
even going to lie. I don't even
Stop,
trust.
you do.
I don't even trust that pull-out method. You know what? I
I
don't.
mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't trust it, but
Like,
at least
if
make
your
the
body,
effort.
if
Some
your
guys
body
will not
don't
even
like
make the
protect them,
effort. The guys
Let it be that you tried.
Yeah, exactly. Let it be that you try. Some guys will not even make the effort. For me, my example for me, my
trying,
did not even make
Tika,
the effort.
trying and not succeeding is this. It gives the same result as not
I
even
know,
trying.
but I'm just
If
like,
they-
at least you let it be that you even made a conscious effort to say, I'm trying. Like, I'm not going to come inside this girl, because like you don't want a child. You want to enjoy sex, yes, but you don't want a
And
child.
some people too are confident in their pull-out game,
Well,
but
good luck to them. I mean, that's
what
not
in
me.
a guy knows.
I don't know about
Like,
that. I
think
feel like
guys
I'm
need
just
to
scared
get
of
it into
you know
their
what.
head that girls, you run a risk of getting a girl pregnant when you have sex with them, whether you're using protection or not, whether she's on the pill or not. So take that responsibility and know that if you, and we all need to, even me, I should have been more. I know it's something I've always had at the back of my mind, that I want to only sleep with people that I don't mind having a child with.
But does that always happen? I don't think
it
so.
doesn't know exactly. That's what I was going to say. I've had it at the back of my mind, but it doesn't always happen like that. At the point in time where I had a child with my
dad.
I mean, he's somebody that will not say I cannot have a child with him, but he's not like a preferred person. I will say this is who I want to have a child with. He's not a preferred candidate, but he's not somewhere I'll say, it's a lie, I can never have a child with this person. So it's not like that. So there are people that I cancel that I will not even go near them to place.
You know what I think about this thing as well? Like Chika said, I mean, she feels like it should be 60-40. That's also, left for whoever. I mean, your interpretation is fine. I feel like if you're educated about sex and sexual health and how to protect yourself from, having a child that you don't want to have, I feel like if you have that knowledge, don't put the onus on someone else. If I have that knowledge, I will do everything within my power to
make sure I don't have one.
Do you understand? That's what I would do. If I'm now with a man that decides that, he's the king of pulling out, and that pull out, doesn't work, I mean, I still know that I'm not going to get pregnant if I have 99.9% chance, right, that I won't get pregnant. So I feel like as a woman,
you need to do your own.
Have to, because unfortunately, the man
that will carry
is not going to. And I don't know if this is biological. I'm not an expert in that field, so I don't want to say, anything that's off color. But I would say, if a man wants to, go that route of, having contraception, I don't know, does that even work? How many people have tried it? How effective is it? I know of some people who are in marriage now that have decided that they would go and, have their
snip,
get the snip, right?
Tubes tied or
not even the woman, sorry, the man has taken, or the men have taken that active step, So even in marriage, some people till today say, why should he do it? I mean, the woman should be able to do it. And I had that kind of thing run through my mind, but I had to stop myself and say, you know what? You have to keep quiet and think about it. Like, the man should also take that responsibility. The woman shouldn't be the one, tying her tube, or, having a hysterectomy where she has to.
Fair. Both of you can even do it.
Yeah, both of you can do it. But
how I feel about this,
men are scared.
I feel like it comes. I feel like it actually comes from a place of misogyny. Like, why has it always been that for centuries
our limits, so we can go on?
Okay, that for centuries till date, women have been the ones to have to do something to curb, getting pregnant or reduce the risk of getting pregnant.
It's conditioning.
One man can impregnate 1,000 women.
Yeah. How many did you get? So he needs to be more conscious.
Because once you're pregnant, you're pregnant. You cannot be pregnant on top of the pregnancy. But you see men that have 10 baby mamas pregnant at the same time.
In the same time, you can sleep with 10 women and probably get all of them pregnant.
Start looking at this from a more logical perspective. For a woman, they say there are hormonal and non-hormonal contraceptives. guess what? A lot of these contraceptives actually run people local.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Like I know people that, you know, due to whether it's copper T or all those different things, they fall into depression.
Yeah.
Or they become aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
And then you start going, oh, you're nagging. You know, so I feel like there's a whole lot to contraceptives and birth control that the men are just clueless about.
Yeah.
They just know that, okay, we are spacing our children, or yeah, you're not getting pregnant. They don't understand all the biology and the hormones that are being affected by those decisions.
And women should
okay, you're
pick up
done
more.
having children. Why
Women
not
should
get a
pick up more.
vasectomy? Why not get a vasectomy? A vasectomy is non-intrusive.
Very
It's
quick.
very
Why you get up and go home the same
Do you
day?
understand why
It's a same day procedure.
You
You don't have to stay in the hospital. You can do it in 30
And
minutes.
it's reversible.
And it is.
And
It
it's
is
reversible.
Yeah,
But
it
a hysterectomy is not reversible. It is so invasive. I have an aunt who had one
So
2 years
invasive.
ago. It is so invasive. My God.
I feel like
So
women.
I just feel like it's so unfair, and it's still as a result of all the social conditioning and the misogyny in society.
And
That
that social
you have
conditioning.
why?
The father of that
See, I don't want to go through that. I am the weaker vessel. I accept my crown. I want to be the weaker vessel. You go and deal with that.
You know, men choose when they want to be the weaker vessel,
And
when they're sick or when they have the flu.
I
mother of
know.
social conditioning is religion, but that's story for another day.
Well, that's something for that.
No, that was something that the Catholic Church used to get their. See, the Catholic Church perpetrated as much as yes, so they did so much good, blah blah blah. They perpetrated, especially the Irish Catholic Church, perpetrated so much evil in the name of religion. How can you go and be telling Irish people who cannot feed, who don't have money for food, that contraception is evil, is work of the devil?
Yeah.
You see an Irish man who plants potatoes, who has nothing else to eat, having 15 children. You see his wife looking like his great grandmother. Why?
That's wrong.
I mean, churches have a lot to play. I mean, I'm not even Catholic. Was I born Catholic? Probably, yes, I was. I mean,
No, I'm not even talking about Catholicism practice.
I'm just saying, like, in all religions, because I'm touching the religion that I grew up in, which was Mormonism, and a lot of Mormons have so many kids, right? They even advise to have a lot of kids. And, you know, you ask yourself, like, why are these people having 10 children? You know, is it because you feel like that's the woman's job? So for me, I'm a Christian, and I feel like I'm a very strong Christian personally, but I still struggle with, you know, how the church or religion, Christianity, tries to put women in a tight, like in a corner. And that's what I struggle with. And that's why I'm like, like religion has really done a lot to make women feel like, even carry the guilt of, even if you don't want a child. And I say, when women have abortions, why is it that the man, I mean, I can't speak for men unless they speak up. Why is it that women carry that guilt and men don't carry the guilt? So you hear women saying, I had an abortion 10 years ago, like I feel like I should have had it. But you don't even hear men that have impregnated so many girls who have
made them have abortions, like insisted or taking that, like maybe insisted, maybe the girl was still thinking maybe she wants to keep it, but the guy was like, no, I'm not going to be involved. And the woman, not wanting to be alone, decided, okay, let me just get rid of it. You know, not want to be alone in taking care of the kid. And she now starts having guilt, but the guy doesn't have guilt. That was the next thing we're going to talk about, like having abortions and stuff, like the decision to have an abortion and whatever. And, you know, so it's like, even in marriage, I was telling Ify the other day that I have been thinking about my life, the way my life is set up, if I want more kids or not. The way life is right now, it's not a certainty that I'll get married. I mean, I wouldn't mind getting married because, like I was telling Sonia earlier, it's an experience, and I like to experience as much as I can in life. So I would like to experience being married if I find someone that's worth the experience.
Get ready for fights.
I mean, everyone fights.
Now, even when I'm not married, so like I find the people who are not married.
Get ready to be driven up the wall every single time.
I feel like you even have more tolerance for someone you're married to than someone you're not.
Of course, you have more tolerance. Like,
so you
okay, so we're together now.
So I will have to
kill
try
ourselves.
Exactly. But with someone else, you just be like, you know what? Bye.
Forget it.
Bye.
So
That's true.
When I think about it, like I'm not sure I can if I'm gonna get married. So I'm thinking about my different options. It's like, can I do it by myself again? Have a second child by myself again? I'm currently raising one by myself with the help of my mom. Thank goodness for her. But it's almost like I have two children because my mom is much older and I'm the head of the home.
You're the bridge of the gap. You're the bridge of the gap between your mom and
I'm not the breadwinner taking care of everybody. So apart from even just raising the child, I also have to remind her that this is not the way we're raising this boy, this particular child, because those things are passed away. So I have to also, correct her and tell her this is not how we want to do it this time around. You get. So that happens. So I have to think of that situation. She's already having a hard time helping me with my son because he's a boy and he's very active. So I'm like, okay, I must have a girl next. I'm not ready to experience having another boy. I already have that experience. I have that one in the bag. I don't need to have another one. And then you're like, if you don't have the money for the doctors to go and cook up your girl in the lab and put it inside your womb for you to carry and give birth, you're going to take a risk by getting pregnant and hoping that it's a girl. Because all the other methods are not 100%, maybe it's 50-50%. They're not 90%.
The standing method, Abby.
Girl. And then I'm like, at this stage in my life, if I get pregnant again, even though I want to have another girl, I also have another child, which is a girl. If I'm going to do it alone, I have to make sure I'm earning a particular amount of money. If I'm going to do it with someone, I'm even not open to doing it with someone that I'm not married to, but we're going to co-parent, agree to co-parent, so that kind of thing. But the major thing is, if it's a boy, I will get rid of it. I would rather pay the money to go and check early before it's 5 months. I heard that they're even although it's riskier to get rid of it at 5 months, but you can still get rid of it at 5 months, but it's riskier. There are ways to check at like 3 months.
Yeah.
That you pay some money, which is not too expensive, like $200-300 to check it.
Yeah.
I would rather go and do that and make sure it's a girl. If it's a boy, it's going, because I can't come and keep myself.
It's going.
So that means I talk about
what's the question?
You have like the abortion thing, like even in marriage, is this something you can do, like you'll explore, that you feel just because you're married or you're together with someone that
helps to the
even in your life, like if you're a single person, you're doing okay, you can take care of
here's me.
You guys
the year after I had my my son, I fell pregnant again. But I have only one child.
Okay.
So I looked at myself
basically answered the question in your own.
I answered it. I looked at myself like, nah, I can't. I want one now, but then I said, nah, I can't. I can't.
Yeah, it wasn't time. Yeah.
I looked at my husband and I said, look, I can't. I will die. I will run mad. I can't do this. And he was like, okay.
Okay.
Because I feel like one already is life-changing. So to have another when you're actually not ready for it is a lot. It's a lot. A lot of people.
I was still learning to adjust to my new reality. Even 1 year, I was still learning to adjust to my new reality, and then that came upon me. But now I've adjusted. Now there's really nothing. There's no curveball this boy can throw at me anymore that I cannot catch.
Yeah.
So I'm ready for it. And as Chika said, I want a girl. I beg. Boy, it have do.
When we're talking about this abortion thing, man, it's a very touchy subject, right? Because at the end of the day, are you looking at it from your religious standpoint? Are you looking at it from just being logical? Are you being emotional? And what I feel like with 30 plus years living on this earth, I know that you can have one view now, and nobody should make you feel like you can't change your view at any time.
No, you can't change your
Yeah,
view.
yeah, you can.
Like growing up, I think growing up, we all had this thing that abortion is bad.
Of course.
We all had
Where
it.
did it come from? Is it because of being religious? And that's what it was growing up. Right? It was because we were religious, or Nigeria is quote unquote a
no, it's not even about Nigeria. Even in America right now, there's a serious pro-choice, pro-life battle.
Yeah, pro-choice, because most of the people that are pro-choice are Republican, and most of them come from that religious point of view too.
Are religious. Yeah. So for me, it's not even about Nigeria or no Nigeria. It's just your religious.
Yes, it's a worldwide thing, right? Yeah, it is a worldwide thing. It's a world, but just the common denominator when you see those two, like,
religion, it's
religion. So that's why I say, even if you're looking at it from a religious standpoint now, your views can change 5 years, 2 years, or 1 month from now. But my problem is, I'm pro-choice, but what people don't understand, I feel don't understand, is when you're pro-choice doesn't mean that you're not.
First choice is always going to be abortion.
You're not pro-life. Do you understand? I just feel like people should have the choice to make that decision by themselves. That's why I'm pro-choice.
Pro-life people, all the factors, factors.
Yeah, pro-life people like try to push that idea down your throat and just make you, you can't, even if you believe in God. God has given us agency, and what's agency? To choose good or bad. God is God and can, do this and you die or whatever, but he still knows that you still have to make the choice between good or bad in God's religion, right? Because that's still open for interpretation, what is good and what is bad. So I feel people should make that choice based on the conditions that surround that pregnancy. If I get pregnant now, at this point in my life, will I have that child? I will. But again, if why I'm not hardcore, like I'm pro-life, is what, are you pro-life all the way? Because there are people who are all the way, and there's some people like, if I'm pro-life, and when they tell you this child has a defect, or this is gonna happen, or you might, then they start saying, okay, should I have this child? Like, so what are you? So for me, I feel like if you're pro-life, be pro-life all the way, whatever that child comes with, whatever conditions you might face having that child, just stick to it, but still you can change. Having an abortion is left for that person. If a friend or whoever comes to me and says, I'm pregnant, what should I do? If you ask me, what should I do? I would say, you know what? I feel like the first thing that will come to my mind is, oh, you should have the child, if I'm being very honest, right? That's if you ask me. I'm not just going to give you my opinion if you don't ask me. But I'll still now ask questions like, okay, do you want to have the child? Can
you do this? Can you do that? There are a lot of surrounding factors that you need to take into consideration.
And it's not only for single girls. It's not, I know my people who've had abortion. It's for everyone, and people should not just, focus that spotlight on the women when we're discussing abortion. It's the woman's body. She can make that choice. But please, in the area where you think, oh, she's had an abortion, stigma, blah, 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 please, the man also partook in that act, that got that woman pregnant. And if you want to put blame, for those that want to put blame on anyone or make anyone feel guilty, which you shouldn't do, if you want to do that, please make it an equal thing.
Faye, I was going to ask you now, like as a newlywed-ish, at the peak of your career, young, let's say you were to have what will happen, like if maybe your decision, maybe you guys have decided you're not ready to have kids yet, you want to do some things in your career for a bit, like get a certain level in your career before having to take maternity leave or whatnot. But let's say now if you should get pregnant, like what do you think? I'm sure maybe you've discussed it with your husband, who knows, but like from your point of view, what do you think, like you do? Would you explore getting rid of it at all, or that's not an option for you?
Okay, so for me, I'm pro-choice, by the way. So I mean, I feel like anybody who feels like they're not ready should not be having children, because it would be selfish as well to have a child that you're not ready to take care of. So I personally, if I get pregnant now, I'll keep it because I know that I have the resources and the love in my heart to take care of a child. So I'm waiting a little bit, and I'm doing everything I can. We are doing everything we can to make sure it doesn't happen right now. But if it does happen, we're not going to go out of our way to actually get rid of it. So I actually at some point I actually had a scare, and turned out like I just had mixed feelings. I wasn't sad, and I wasn't like happy. So I just had mixed feelings, and that was when I realized that like if this thing should happen, like I wouldn't be mad that it happened, even though it's not part of the plan.
Yeah.
So maybe after 2 and 3 by mistake, and then something happens after that, bruh, I'm not ready for all that. That's what I can say at this point. No. There's going to be a cap, and once that cap is exceeded, there's going to be something done about it.
Yeah, so I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to like talk about pertaining to this particular discussion. Is there anything else you guys want to like add generally?
So with regards to like the abortion thing and deciding to abort, I know that this is a big topic where people wonder, does the woman have a right to just decide that she wants to take it out without the man's input? So even if they're not married, right? So maybe you're dating and you get pregnant unexpectedly, and you're the woman. So of course, like we said, biologically you're the one that will carry the child. The child is going to be dependent. The child's existence is going to be dependent on you for the first few months. So if as a woman you feel like you're not ready, but the man feels like you're ready, like he's ready, what kind of compromise do you think can come out of that? Like, do you think that the decision should be weighed 50-50? Like, both of them should have equal input into the decision, or do you feel like simply at the end of the day it's the woman's decision? The man can provide his advice, but
it's the woman's decision. It's the woman's decision because it's her body. She's going to be saddled with that thing. Sorry, let me not say thing, but she's going to be saddled with that burden for 9 months. The hormones that will be rushing through her body for 9 months are astronomical. You will experience every spectrum of emotion in 9 months. You will experience every spectrum, every facet of emotion in 9 months. Then after giving birth, and pregnancy is not 9 months, by the way. Pregnancy is actually 10 months.
Yeah.
But let's not go there. And then after giving birth, there's another spate of emotions that goes through. Like she has to go through that cycle. Like it's like you're on a cloud, you now have to come down from that cloud. And after that, she then has to deal with the fallout that, oh my God, I have an attachment. Her life will never, ever, ever be the same again.
That's scary.
Before I got married, I used to be able to, Saturday weekends, I'll just go to ShopRite in Abuja, buy myself a pack of brownies. That's brownie flour. Buy myself a bottle of wine, a huge bottle of wine, and that's all I'll eat for the weekend.
Yeah,
I will not move from my bed. If at all I will move from my bed, I'm going somewhere. But now my lifestyle has changed. Whether for the better, whether for worse, I really don't care. I would like to be able to lie down in bed all day and drink my bottle of wine. I can't do that anymore. Sometimes look. Yeah?
I said for now, when he grows bigger, maybe like when
he grows bigger, when he grows bigger, I won't be young anymore. I won't be able to be gallivanting and be looking for.
You shouldn't even think like that. But that's another topic for another day. You can be the same. The young is a construct. It's a social construct.
It's a social construct.
It's a social construct. Like anything, you can have any personality you want to have at any age in your life.
I agree.
You can decide you want to do this forever till you're 70, lay down in bed and eat your brownies. All you need to take into consideration is your health and maybe other like biological factors.
But that's the major thing to take into consideration.
Yeah,
though.
so
Like that's
as long as it's not affecting your health, you should be able to still drink. Wine is good for everybody's health, even at 80. Red wine especially.
These are not the amount of wine. Not the amount of wine I used to.
It's just the time. Yeah, it's just the. You know what? Back to this question of should there be a compromise? Now I'm not married, so I don't want to speak from that perspective. But have I been in relationships? Yes. Is a marriage a relationship? Yes. So, but a marriage is different from just dating. If you're not even like a common law partner with someone, if you don't live together and all of that. If I'm pregnant right now and I have a partner, like a consistent partner, we've been together for like a year, and I want to get rid of that baby, and he's giving me reasons not to because he wants us to come to a compromise. Will I compromise? Probably I will. You know why? Because it's difficult. I don't want to just say, well, it's still my body, so if I don't want it, I'll get rid of it, Getting rid of a baby, if we're looking at, I don't even want to call it a baby, depending on what stage that pregnancy is, because that's also like another topic for discussion again, But if you do not want that child, like if you've said, man, I don't want this child, but you want it, my partner, you want it, okay, I can have this baby, and no, I'll have this baby, but I don't want to see this baby. You take it.
Is that possible?
People do it.
Yeah, people that do it.
People
I know a
do
couple
it.
that
That's what
first
I was
years
saying
of the
now
songs,
about
like the father was the
that's
one
what I
to
was
take care
saying
of
about
the
a
child.
girl getting pregnant and then
Like
she
after
decides she's
going
not
through
going
all
to
of
abort
that,
it. Then
Yes,
just drop it.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
drop it.
That
And
one
the
that
only thing
a
the
couple.
only stigma that will come with it is that they'll say, she's a terrible mother.
Yeah.
Look at
Okay,
her.
like
Yeah,
I'm
that's
if I want to understand, like, so you're actually going to go through all of that just to give him what he wants, and he's not even your husband.
me like this,
Just because
so.
he wants it. You're nice, you're very nice.
Wait, me personally, will I do that? No. But I'm just saying, if the circumstance arises where you feel like you want to compromise, you don't want the child, but okay, I know people have done it. Because, okay, let's even use this situation where these celebrities, what's
Of
that?
the pregnancy
Spanish.
as a compromise.
I don't watch family.
Just
What's that thing? Modern Family. What's that woman's name? That very curvy woman. That
Gloria.
Yes, she has embryos. Embryos with that other guy, and now she's with someone else.
And the guy used it.
Wait. She has embryos with who?
Her former partner. They
in real life or
in real life. So they were together. They have embryos in storage, but they broke up and they're now with two separate people. Right now, the man's personal vendetta or whatever he's pursuing this situation for is up to him. But this guy wants the kids. Sophia doesn't want it. If it was solely the woman's choice, because they would have gotten rid of those embryos, but it's still a bone of contention because the man still wants to have those kids because he has 50% whatever in the life of those embryos.
Okay,
right?
okay. So for that case, I would assume that there are a lot of legal, there are a lot of contracts that would have gone into it. That wouldn't be the typical case.
It's not typical,
that, of course, they came together and made that decision to do that. They didn't think about. I'm sure they didn't include clauses of, what if we get separated or whatever. And now that is the result of that. They should have covered all bases and said, if we break up, this is how we make this decision.
Yeah.
That should have been a clause in whatever contract they had. Now, for a regular, my boyfriend, my girlfriend, in my early 20s, you don't have a job. I don't have a job. You want to keep this baby because you've always wanted to have a mini you. I don't want this baby because if I have this baby, I'm not going to be able to work the way I want to work.
Yeah.
I'm Nigerian. I can't just give you a baby. I don't know. I'm surprised that people do that.
I wanted to add.
I'm weak. But I can't just carry it away for 10 months, push it out, and then just say, oh yeah, take. This is
I
what we
wanted to add
wanted.
that.
And then my own body has staged forever. My
Hi guys, sorry, I have to go.
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
So nice talking to everyone. I hope we
thanks
do
for
this
joining
again.
us.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure we'll
know.
soon be wrapping up. I just wanted to add
I
something.
hope
Yeah.
we do it again soon with other topics.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed talking to all of you.
All right, bye, Sonia.
Yeah, bye.
Yeah.
I wanted to quickly add that another thing we need to normalize, like we need to work on with our own children and people around us, is that the only thing you need a woman for when it comes to having children is to incubate the baby, which you don't even need a particular woman to do. You can get someone to do it now, but this particular woman doesn't have to do it, and that's pretty much it. Yes, her body will go through things. So if you decide you don't want to go through that, you can get a surrogate that you can pay if you guys can
Don't
afford.
worry, in Canada, it's free. Surrogacy is free in Canada.
If you can.
So if you want a child so bad,
No, maybe the person wants it with you, but you don't need to carry it. It can be your egg, but you don't need to carry it if you're worried about all you go through. And but the point I was trying to get at is that apart from carrying the baby and the other things that comes with it, like hormones and whatever that women go through, a man can parent a child from birth. Even that, like, because Sonia said something about the first few months. Or was it you that said the child would be with you? The child doesn't have to be from birth, doesn't have to be with the mother anymore. With the technology and everything we have, the child doesn't have to be with the mother again from birth anymore. Because there are situations like that.
But the child that you love and you want
it's not about you. I'm not saying about you giving up child, though. That's not my point. That's not the point I'm trying to make. The point I'm trying to make.
For the child to live, it doesn't have
live. It's not dependent on the mother being there, because there are lots of situations where mothers give birth and the mother dies. And the father has to take care of the child. So men should not always feel like their place as a parent comes in later in the child's life. Or that and a lot of people feel, not even just men, people always feel like the child has to be with the mother for the first is attached to the mother for the first few months. It's a lie. If there are some mothers that don't breastfeed at all, so which is the only reason why they should be attached to you.
Some personally don't want to, some can't. Some people can't because of
the reason I think that the child should be attached to the mother for the first few months is not just breastfeeding. We know that breastfeeding plays a major role in the health of a child, of a little baby, but there's also the bonding factor. So I feel like in different situations it will vary. Of course, if a mother loses her life, there's really no choice and there's no bond.
That's what I'm saying. Even that bonding factor, it should
not
be
the child will survive. The child will survive, but would you like the child to just survive?
No,
do you understand what I'm saying?
That's not the only option. That's not the other option. What I'm trying to say is that the bonding factor at those first few months can happen with both the parents. It shouldn't just be
of course,
woman.
It should. That's why these days there's even paternity
leave. The woman that has the majority. No, you can share equally. They can bond. They should bond with you in those first few months.
You know what?
I want to add. Like even now, there's paternity leave. Some companies offer like 6 weeks paternity leave paid. Go and bond with the child and take care of the baby.
You know what I want to say on this topic right now is both of you, I agree with you. And if the only thing I would say that makes me agree more with Chika is if there's any medical research that shows that a child doesn't necessarily need that mother and child bond to have like a good foundation in like that's not necessarily a good foundation for a child to thrive. If a child doesn't need it medically and based on research, then anybody can parent. But if it's been shown, because there's research that children that have that mother and child bond tend to do better in certain areas in life, then I can say, okay, yes, Faye, I agree. So for me, I need evidence to back up, but I just like a child with anybody. And like Chika said,
and they will still thrive. Like that bond. that bond that they need is just love, whether it comes from their own parents, actual parents, or another person.
So for me, I understand that, but for me, I'm thinking about the little things, especially for a child that you purpose that, not a child that you didn't want to have, but a child that you love, right?
Yeah.
Even from the beginning, just ordinary skin to skin.
Yeah.
In the hospital, right?
The husband can do it.
Something.
The man has chest.
Husbands do it too. Yeah, it's not just for women.
Any point you make can go for the man, is what I'm trying to say.
Yes,
any point you make can also go for the man.
For
I get what you're trying to say, and I think it's a personal sentiment.
If you're going to have a baby, give the baby everything. Give the baby your all. That's just how I feel about that.
I feel like for women, it goes without saying. But what I'm trying to say is now that it should not be.
Men too, of course. You know me, I'm for that. Men too can equally,
just put it that it's a woman. Like, I know the sentiments you have, the personal sentiments you have towards it. I understand what you're saying, but I'm trying to not to put too much attention on that, because the attention is already there. That one is like standard. It kind of goes without saying that once a child is born, it will be with the mother more. So we don't even. I'm trying to remove it from that now. Let it not be more. We don't want that more. That skin to skin, as the woman is trying to. In fact, I feel like the woman even needs small break, because she has gone through a lot in the 9 months. Like,
that child should not come near me until it's fully clean. Keep it.
Of course now.
Once the child just comes, I don't know straight on my body. Excuse me, just.
No, but they don't. They always can clean.
That's what you mean. I want that.
No, but they will not even give you immediately. They clean it first before they give you.
I've seen people that they do immediately.
They bring it out and they just put on your chest.
Yeah, I've seen immediately.
Well, I guess it depends on the situation of the child. I guess maybe they also feel like they need.
I want that. Like, I just feel like, if you're having a baby that you plan to have, then
I feel like that's a problem, but I'm just saying, like, that sentiment, like, I understand your personal sentiment. Like me, I've always wanted to have a child.
Like, some people will have kids and then go back to work immediately, like within like 3 or 4 months. Me, I'm going to spend my full 1 year of time off with my baby. That I don't know. I guess it's a personal thing, but I really feel like that baby is relying on me a lot. There's something I posted recently about a mother's breast milk, a nursing mother.
Yeah.
She's hungry.
That's the condition of the breast milk changes.
Yeah.
So
what changes it?
So basically, the wash back from the saliva of the baby when they've breastfed can signal to your body as a mother that your baby is ill, and so it releases some more, like, whatever needs to be released to actually help the baby get better. So these are things that it's not sentiment, it's biology. Do you understand?
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that if that is not there, the baby will not survive. The baby will survive.
But if it's there, why not provide it to the child? Like, if it's there, why not give the child that?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Apart from that breastfeeding, which is not always a necessity. Like in different situations, you can do without it. Apart from that breastfeeding, to be honest, if I have a partner that, like, when I give birth like this, after I've gone through that 9 months on my own, I did everything on my own in that 9 months. I know you were there helping around outside, but internally, I was alone in that 9 months. When I come out, just give me that baby to breastfeed. Everything else, you're the one. You will bathe, you will check. Let me just give me a breastfeed. I will hug, we'll play, we'll kiss, we'll sleep together, or do whatever. But as in, we're gonna have to share it. And because I'm already doing a lot of work breastfeeding, and I've already done that 9 months.
Hopefully that's what happens. Even if the person doesn't have that background of seeing it happen, like from where they're from, if they're willing to learn, if they're willing to learn, hopefully, that's the hope, that you're with someone who is willing to learn. They will learn. You can teach them, and if the person really cares, let's even forget love. If the person cares for you,
apart from living with the child,
that there's something they can do to make your life a bit easier, they should, be on board.
It's even the two people, apart from you, even the child too. They should care about you, the child as well.
And again, I mean, let's normalize speaking about it, and obviously with tact. I mean, you might have good intentions, but let's know that when we're saying we should say it in a way that the person who's receiving it can understand it, rather than just hearing it and just letting it pass because of the way they, let's talk about it. Let's tell our men, it doesn't make you less of a man, it even makes you more attractive to your wife or to whoever you're with, to be there for that child, just be there and do the simple things. If it's to even teach the child how to potty train the child, it doesn't have to be the woman's job if you're there.
It's seriously shared responsibility.
I always have this conversation with Nigerian men and some other men. I'm like, see, nobody is born with skills to just know how to take care or nurture people. There are a lot of women that are not nurturing by nature.
Yep.
There are a lot of men that are more nurturing by nature.
Yeah.
And I tell people, see, because people like to give excuses like, oh, nobody taught me how to do this growing up. Nobody taught me this. You have the internet. If you can learn to do your job that you never knew about before,
yes,
you can learn to change a nappy. You can learn to feed a child.
Yes.
You can learn to cook. It's a survival skill.
It is.
Do you understand? Skill. If you can learn to have sex on your own.
Exactly.
Do you understand? If somebody has to teach you how to have sex,
yes,
you can learn to do anything you put your mind to.
That's true. That's true. That's
what I thought. Like, don't tell me, women are more inclined, they know how to do whatever, but that's because they learned how to do it. Everybody is born tabula rasa. Everything we know how to do today, we learn. So it's even easier as an adult to learn certain things because it just makes sense. They're rational and logical. So yeah.
Okay. Anyways, thanks guys for joining the conversation today. We'll probably do this again soon. Maybe a weekly something. I don't know. Try and make it a weekly something if possible. I know that the thing that I've been thinking about a lot recently is this whole Black Lives Matter thing. What's happening with Black people, and I wanted to talk about it a bit because us as Nigerians and Africans, we cannot really understand. I feel like we can't really understand the way African Americans feel.
We'll never.
Exactly. So it's something I want to talk more about, but we'll do that another day. One of the topics I have in mind. If you guys have anything you feel like talking about, we can decide we can pick a date and we can do that as well. But yeah, thank you for. I hope it didn't record. It says it's recording. I hope it does not come and show me nonsense after because I will just cry.
It was a very interesting conversation. Like
I will cry if I lose it there.
And there are a lot of strong opinions that are not exactly popular opinions too. So it's going to be interesting to see
response and the feedback.
Yeah, and see what maybe we can get more people. We can do I don't know how this YouTube live works. I don't know if more people can pop. I think I see people popping up on YouTube live. You can invite people to pop up, but I have to explore it a bit more. So maybe we can plan a live one where other people can be watching it as we're talking and commenting, and we talk about it as well. So thanks for being the pioneer people. And
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having
me. Have a good rest of Sunday and a good week.
Bye guys. Speak to you soon.
Bye. See you soon. Bye.